June 1994, Charles's birthday party. Diana showed up uninvited. Camilla was there as hostess. In front of 50 horrified guests, Diana walked up to Camilla and said, "We need to talk, now." What happened in the next 20 minutes, the screaming, the accusations, the secrets revealed, made guests sign NDAs. But the truth always comes out. The uninvited guest, June 21st, 1994, 8:47 p.m., Highgrove House. Prince Charles was celebrating his 46th birthday with an intimate gathering of close friends and family. The guest list had been carefully curated to include people who supported him through his separation from Diana. Camilla Parker Bowles was there as unofficial hostess, a role she'd played increasingly at Charles's private events. What no one expected was the sound of a car pulling up the drive at 8:47 p.m. Diana stepped out of her car wearing a stunning emerald green dress, her hair perfectly styled, her makeup flawless. She had not been invited, she had not been expected, but she was there and she had a purpose. Charles's security chief approached nervously. "Your Royal Highness, I'm not sure you're on the guest list." "I'm the mother of the future king," Diana said coldly. "I don't need to be on a guest list to attend my estranged husband's birthday party." She walked past him into the house. The party fell silent as Diana entered the drawing room. 50 guests turned to stare. Charles went pale. Camilla, who had been laughing at something someone said, froze with her champagne glass halfway to her lips. "Diana," Charles managed, "what are you doing here?" "Celebrating your birthday, darling," Diana said with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Isn't that what wives do?" "Ex-wives don't," someone muttered. Diana's gaze swept the room until it landed on Camilla. "Hello, Camilla. You look comfortable. Playing hostess at my husband's home, wearing what I assume are my family jewels. How thoughtful of Charles to lend them to you." But wait, you haven't seen what Diana did next. The confrontation begins. June 21st, 1994, 8:52 p.m. Camilla set down her glass carefully. "Diana, this isn't the time or place." "Isn't it?" "Because from where I'm standing, this is the perfect time and place. All of Charles's friends are here, all the people who've supported his affair with you, all the people who've whispered about me behind my back. Wonderful. You can all hear this." Diana walked across the room until she was standing directly in front of Camilla. The two women were nearly the same height, eye to eye. "We need to talk, now." "I don't think that's a good idea," Camilla said quietly. "I don't care what you think is a good idea. You've been sleeping with my husband for decades. You've destroyed my marriage. You've humiliated me in front of the entire world. The least you can do is have the courage to talk to me face to face." Charles moved toward them. "Diana, you're being hysterical." "Don't you dare," Diana spun toward him. "Don't you dare call me hysterical for confronting the woman you've been cheating on me with since before we were married. You wanted to have your mistress play hostess at your parties? Fine. But you're going to deal with the consequences." She turned back to Camilla. "Talk to me." "Hold up," Camilla's response shocked everyone. The fight escalates. June 21st, 1994. 8:57 p.m., Camilla straightened her shoulders. Something in her expression hardened. "You want to do this here? In front of everyone? Fine. Let's do it." The room was deadly silent. 50 guests stood frozen, champagne glasses forgotten, watching two women face off. "You blame me for your marriage failing," Camilla said, "but your marriage was failing long before I came back into Charles's life." "You never left his life," Diana's voice rose. "You were there the entire time. On our honeymoon, he wore your cufflinks. He carried your photo. He called you instead of me." "Because you were a child," Camilla shot back. "You were 19 years old, Diana, a teenager. What did you think was going to happen when they pushed Charles to marry someone he barely knew?" "I thought he would keep his vows." Diana was shaking now. "I thought when a man married you, he stopped sleeping with his mistress." "I'm not his mistress. I'm the woman he's always loved." The words hung in the air like a bomb. Several guests gasped. Charles looked like he wanted the floor to open up and swallow him. "Oh, finally," Diana said with bitter satisfaction. "Finally, you admit it. Finally, you stand there in front of everyone and admit that you've been having an affair with my husband." Don't miss this revelation. What Diana revealed next. The secrets come out. June 21st, 1994. 9:03 p.m. Diana reached into her purse and pulled out a stack of papers. You want to know how I know about your affair? Because I've been documenting it. Phone records showing calls between Charles and you at all hours. Credit card statements showing Charles buying you jewelry. Hotel records showing rooms booked under false names. She threw the papers on the table beside them. I have evidence of every lie, every secret meeting, every time my husband chose you over me. Camilla looked at the papers, then back at Diana. You had us investigated? I had the truth uncovered. There's a difference. Diana's voice was sharp. And you know what I found? That Charles has been lying to both office? What are you talking about? Charles told you I was crazy, didn't he? Diana asked. That I was unstable, hysterical, impossible to live with? Camilla's silence was answer enough. He told me you were just a friend, that I was paranoid, that nothing was happening. He lied to both of us, Camilla. He made you think I was the problem, and he made me think I was crazy for suspecting the truth. Charles tried to intervene. Diana, this is private. Nothing about my humiliation has been private. Diana shouted. The entire world knows my husband prefers his mistress. The entire world has watched me bedigraded and dismissed. But now finally we're going to have some honesty. She turned back to Camilla. Tell them? Tell everyone here how long you've been sleeping with Charles. This is where everything changes. Camilla fights back. June 21st, 1994, 9:08 p.m. Camilla's face flushed with anger. You want honesty? Fine. I've loved Charles since before you were old enough to drive. We were in love, we were supposed to marry, and the palace decided I wasn't suitable. They pushed him toward you instead. So you decided to continue the affair? I decided to be there for the man I love when his arranged marriage to a teenager didn't work out. Yes, Diana. I was there. I've always been there. And I always will be. You destroyed my life. Diana's voice cracked. I destroyed your fairy tale. Camilla corrected coldly. Your life was never real, Diana. It was a palace production. You were cast as the princess. I was cast as the villain. And Charles was cast as the prince who was supposed to be reformed by your youth and beauty. But real life doesn't work that way. Don't you dare minimize what you've done. And don't you pretend you're the only victim here, Camilla shot back. You think I haven't paid a price? I've been vilified in every newspaper. I've been called every horrible name. My children have been bullied because of me. I've lost friends, reputation, any chance at a normal life, all because I love a man who was forced to marry someone else. The room was in shock. Several guests were crying. Others looked like they wanted to flee but couldn't move. Charles stood frozen, unable to defend himself against either woman. You're blaming me for your choices? Diana asked incredulously. I'm saying we're both victims of a system that uses people, Camilla said. The palace used Charles. They used you. And yes, they used me too. The difference is, I went into it with my eyes open. But you're not ready for what Diana revealed next? The evidence bombshell. June 21st, 1994. 9:15 p.m. Diana pulled out another document from her purse. You think you're the only woman Charles has been with during our marriage? Let me read you something. This is from a private investigator's report dated 1989. She began reading. Prince Charles was observed meeting with Lady X at Clarence House on 3 occasions in January, meeting with Mrs. Y at a private club in March, extended phone calls with Miss Z throughout April. Stop, Charles said, his voice strangled. Diana, stop. Why? Because you don't want your mistress to know about your other mistresses? Diana's voice was vicious. Camilla, darling, did you think you were special? Did you think Charles was faithful to you while cheating on me? He's been sleeping with half of London while telling you that you're his great love and telling me that I'm his only problem. Camilla had gone white. That's not true. It's all true. I have names, dates, locations. Charles, should I continue? Should I tell your guests about the American actress? The aristocrat's daughter? The married woman whose husband still doesn't know? You're lying, Camilla said, but her voice wavered. I'm not lying, and you know it, Diana said. Look at his face, Camilla. Look at him. He's not denying it. All eyes turned to Charles, who looked stricken. Those weren't, he stammered. They weren't serious, Diana finished for him. That's what you were going to say, isn't it? They weren't serious. Just like I wasn't serious. Just like your vows weren't serious. Just like nothing in your life is serious except your own desires. Don't miss this detail. The guests start taking sides. The room divides. June 21st, 1994, 9:22 p.m., one of Charles's friends, Lord Pemberton, spoke up. Your Royal Highness, you're being unfair. The prince has been under tremendous pressure. Pressure? Diana whirled on him. Pressure? I was 19 years old when I married him. 19. I gave him 2 sons. I supported him through everything. I was bulimic, suicidal, desperate, and he was sleeping with her. She pointed at Camilla. Don't tell me about pressure. A female guest spoke quietly. Diana's right. This is wrong. Other guests shifted uncomfortably. The room was dividing into factions. Some supported Charles and Camilla. Others looked horrified by what they were hearing. We should all leave, someone suggested. Yes, Diana said coldly. You should all leave. You should go home and think about the fact that you've been supporting a man who destroyed his wife while maintaining multiple affairs and calling it love. Camilla found her voice again. You're enjoying this, aren't you? Playing the victim in front of everyone? I'm the victim, Diana shouted. What do I have to do to make you understand that? I was a teenager who married a man who was in love with someone else. I tried to make it work. I tried to be what everyone wanted me to be, and I failed because the game was rigged from the start. You didn't fail, Camilla said quietly. You succeeded at being exactly what they wanted, a beautiful princess who gave them heirs. You just couldn't accept that Charles's heart belonged to someone else. His heart? Diana laughed bitterly. Charles doesn't have a heart. He has an ego and a mistress and a sense of entitlement. And you, Camilla, you're so desperate for his attention that you've accepted being second choice to wife, second choice to the crown, second choice to everything except his cowardice. The insult hit hard. Camilla's eyes filled with tears. You don't know anything about what I've sacrificed for him. I know exactly what you've sacrificed. Other people's happiness, mine, my children's, your own children's, all so you could be the forever mistress of a man who will never fully choose you. You're not going to believe what happened next. The final explosion, June 21st, 1994. 9:31 p.m., Camilla snapped. At least he wants me. At least when he's with me, he's happy. You made him miserable, Diana. Your neediness, your drama, your constant demands for attention, you drove him away. I drove him away? Diana's voice was dangerously quiet. I drove him away by expecting my husband to act like a husband, by wanting him to spend time with his children, by asking him to stop sleeping with you. You drove him away by being unsuitable for the role you were given, Camilla shouted. You were never meant to be queen. You were meant to produce heirs and look pretty at events. But you wanted more. You wanted love and attention and happiness, and that's not what royal marriages are for. The words hung in the air like poison. Every guest was staring at Camilla, horrified that she'd said what they'd all been thinking. Diana looked at her with something close to pity. Thank you, Diana said softly. Thank you for finally admitting what this has always been about. I was never a person to any of you. I was a role, a function, a pretty face for the magazines. And when I had the audacity to want to be treated like a human being, I was the problem. She looked around the room at all the guests. You all heard her. This is what they think of me. This is what they've always thought. I was meant to be decorative and silent and breed heirs. And because I wanted to be loved, I'm the failure. She turned to Charles. I'm done. I'm done with this marriage, with this family, with all of you. I'm getting a divorce, and I'm going to make sure the world knows exactly what you did to me. Diana, wait. Charles reached for her. Diana pulled away. Don't touch me. You lost the right to touch me the first time you went to her bed instead of mine. She looked at Camilla one last time. You won, Camilla. You can have him. You can have the man who lies to everyone, who manipulates everyone, who will never put you first because the crown will always come first. Congratulations on your prize. Here's the most heartbreaking part. The aftermath. June 21st, 1994. 9:40 p.m. Present day. Diana walked out of the party with her head high, leaving 50 shocked guests and a destroyed birthday celebration behind her. Within hours, all 50 guests were contacted by palace officials and asked to sign non-disclosure agreements about what they'd witnessed. Most signed, a few refused. Whispers about the confrontation leaked anyway. Charles and Camilla's relationship became even more strained after that night. "Did you mean what you said?" Charles asked Camilla after Diana left. "About her only being meant to produce heirs?" Camilla looked at him tiredly. "It's what you told me for years, Charles, that she didn't understand her role, that she wanted too much. I was just repeating what you said. I never said she wasn't a person. You treated her like she wasn't. There's no difference." Diana told her therapist about the confrontation weeks later. "I lost control," Diana admitted. "I went there planning to be calm and strong, and instead I screamed at her in front of everyone." "Did you say things that were true?" her therapist asked. "Every word was true, but I said them in the cruelest way possible. I wanted to hurt her the way she hurt me." "Did it work?" Diana was quiet for a long moment. "No, because hurting her doesn't heal me." The final truth. What the confrontation revealed. The birthday party confrontation was one of the most explosive moments in Diana's separation from Charles. 50 witnesses saw two women who had been positioned as rivals for decades finally say everything they'd been holding back. They saw Diana's pain and danger. They saw Camilla's defensiveness and justification. They saw Charles's cowardice and inability to take responsibility for his choices. But more importantly, they saw how the system had failed everyone. Diana had been used as a breeding machine and discarded when she wanted more. Camilla had been positioned as the villain when she'd loved Charles before Diana existed. Charles had been taught that his desires mattered more than anyone's pain. And all three of them were trapped in roles they hadn't chosen but couldn't escape. Years later, after Diana's death, one of the party guests spoke anonymously about that night. "It was the most uncomfortable thing I've ever witnessed. Two women absolutely destroying each other while the man who caused all the pain stood there doing nothing. Diana was magnificent and terrible at the same time. Camilla was defensive and cruel. Charles was pathetic. And we all just stood there, watching a marriage end in the most public, brutal way possible." The non-disclosure agreements kept most details quiet, but enough leaked that people understood something dramatic had happened. Diana had confronted Camilla at Charles's birthday party. There had been screaming, there had been accusations, there had been truths that no one wanted to hear, and 50 witnesses had watched the fairy tale princess become a wronged woman fighting back with everything she had. The confrontation didn't change anything fundamental. Charles and Camilla continued their relationship. Diana continued toward divorce. But for 20 minutes on June 21, 1994, everyone in that room saw the real cost of the royal family's manipulation. 3 damaged people trapped in an impossible situation, all fighting for happiness they'd never be allowed to have.